Parallel 46 or the famous Broaster Chicken at the Purple Palace. Feed your cravings and save at FergusFallsDeals.com. At FergusFallsDeals.com.
It's Morning Talk on News Talk 1250 KBRF, brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. Now, here's Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop.
Good Tuesday morning. It is 10 after 9 and all is well. How's it going, Mary?
Well, it's going well, except for, I think you and we were both out yesterday, so this Tuesday feels like a Monday.
That's why I said all is well.
Yeah.
Derek and Zach don't have to do it. They did a good job. I watched a little bit of them while I was in the waiting room at the clinic. So.
Okay, all right. Well, I wasn't able to see any of it. We had a funeral yesterday, and so I didn't get to see or hear anything, but I'm sure they handled it very well.
They talked a lot of movies. I said, I don't think K-pop Demon Hunter is going to translate to our audience very well, but good job.
Oh. Oh, a couple of young bucks, all right?
Yeah, well, they're talking about streaming and that stuff, so it kind of fit in there, but then they went on and talked movies a little bit longer.
Okay.
But hey, it was a good change-up.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes people need a break from you and me. I don't know. But anyway, it's nice to have backup. So thanks to those guys for filling in for us.
It was just one of those weird things that both of us had to be gone at the same day at the same time.
And, you know, that has not happened to you and I.
No, normally one of us is here.
Yeah, right. And so I told Dave, I said, hey, by the way, I have a funeral on Monday. And he said, I'm going to be gone too. And we're like, uh-oh. But we've got backup. So that's good news.
Zach and Derek did well.
All right. So anyway, good to be back in the chair, and I don't know, you probably didn't have time to watch this this morning, but we've been hearing that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth called together all of the leaders of the military, and they came from the far reaches of the world. They came from Japan and all over the place, so that they were all gathered at the Pentagon, I believe is where they were. Anyway, I don't know if you had a chance to hear any of that this morning, but I'll tell you what. If you liked Pete Hegseth before, you love that guy today. His speech, and completely without teleprompter, he walked back and forth, and as I was watching him pace, I thought, does he have teleprompters all over the place so he's catching up as he walks across the stage? It was completely unscripted. He just off the cuff, and boy, is he articulate. I'm always amazed by people who, regardless of what they're talking about, can have that semblance of order in their mind. Yeah. And a lot of things he said, okay, I'm going to make 6 points. And he walked them off. And some of them were lengthy. Number 1 was lengthy. Number 2 was lengthy. But he always came back to number 3. And now if that were me, I'd be off to the races and I'd be completely somewhere else. But I was so impressed, not with only his delivery, which is something, you know, you and I consider, because we know how hard that is to be on stage and keep your wits about you, and especially on such a big stage. But not only his delivery, but what he said. And it was a speech about bringing common sense back, making our military great again, and getting rid of all the baloney that over the last, 8 or 12 years, 8 years for sure, has come to our U.S. military. You got bumped up in your rank, not because of your merit, but because you checked the boxes, you know, in terms of your background, your race, your color, your ideology, whatever it was. Nothing was based on merit. And he said it was basically a come to Jesus meeting for all of the military leaders, saying, to be a leader, here's what you got to do, and here's how we're going to do it. None of this business about checking the boxes. You are not going to move up in the ranks because you are the right religion or the right ideology. You're going to move up if you're the right guy or the right woman for the job, and if you can do it, we're going to pick the best person. I'm like, wow, that seems like a good idea, and how far we've gotten from that. He also said things, common sense things like, hey, you know what? You're going to be in good physical shape, because if you're not, I'm not going to have, and he said fat, I can't tell you how many times. He said, I'm not going to have some fat guy out ahead of me trying to protect me that can't keep up and falls from exhaustion. Nope, we're not going to have that. If you're fat and you don't fit into your uniform, well, you might need a different job. So they're going to do, all this physical stuff, and they have to meet physical requirements. They have to meet just general, we're the military. We want to look like military. We want to look respectful. No beards, no fat people. I can't tell you how many times he said that. But it wasn't a slammer. It wasn't like, all right, you bunch of losers, let's do this. But he said, so many people in this room I know are breathing a sigh of relief, saying, now the government and this administration is giving you the green light to handle your recruits and your people like they ought to be handled. You don't have to walk on eggshells anymore. You are the leaders, and you need to lead. And it was just so well done and so common sense, and it brought us back to the way the military should be. He mentioned we're not going to let politics get into this. This is the military, and we need to make sure that we've got the best of the best in the right positions. And I couldn't even begin to recreate what he said. But if you have a chance to listen to it, it probably lasted, 15 minutes, maybe a little longer. But oh my goodness, he knocked it out of the park. And he wants the U.S. military to be the U.S. military.
Yep.
He doesn't want rainbows and people who don't belong in leadership positions. And basically, if you can't do what I said, he said, I hope that for those of you who are out there listening and what I'm saying causes your heart to drop and think, oh no. Well, if you're feeling like that today, you're not in the right place. You need a different position. Now, there might be another position within the military that could be for you, but it is not this. It is not leadership. And anyway, very, very thought-provoking, very ground floor. Here's how it's going to be. This is how it should have always been. We're getting rid of this. We're only going to do this. And he said, on my command, this is how it's going to be. And isn't that what a leader should do?
Yeah.
So anyway, pretty interesting. Okay, so then he got followed by President Trump. And President Trump, not nearly as articulate, for sure. And the guy, I don't know why he would ever have a teleprompter, because he never sticks to his script. And, and he always has to go on, and no matter if the speech could be about puppies and kittens, and somehow he would say, well, I did this, and I'm the greatest, and I did all these things. And yeah, I'm just like, okay, just stop it. Just hit the high points, stick to your script. But, he always has to, he's very hard to follow because it's just all over the map. But basically, he was just standing up for some, all the things that Secretary Heggs has said. And by the way, it is no longer the it is no longer the Department of Defense. It's the Department of War.
Again?
They took the defense off the wall, and now it is the Department of War. So anyway, it's just to say, you know what? The rest of this world should be frightened, shaken in their boots, thinking about the United States military, because that's who we're going to become again. And so if you didn't hear it, I would encourage you to listen to it, because it makes the red, white, and blue a little redder, whiter, and bluer today, I think.
Jen's cousin Dylan actually served with him. I can't remember if he served with him in Afghanistan or if it was Iraq. He was, under his command over there. So that was he said he's a nice guy, so.
Yeah, well, he means to do what what needs to be done with the United States military. And I felt like, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. And of course, he'll get lambasted today by all of the left. Interestingly enough, okay, so I saw it live on Fox News channel. And I flipped around to the other channels. Nobody covered it.
Of course they're not. gonna cover it.
No. So found that interesting. But boy, take that opportunity. I'm sure you can find it on the internet now. Watch the whole thing. It's really worth it. Of course, President Trump met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. They met at the White House, and they seem to have come to an agreement saying, okay, this is how we're going to handle this going forward. And basically, Hamas has got to lay down their weapons, and that's the only way that they can agree to this proposal. If they do that, and also to release all of the hostages, dead and alive, and then they will get some of their Palestinian hostages back, and the promise goes forward, which I don't know what a promise means when you're Hamas, but that will end the fighting. So is that a possibility? Could there be, peace in the Middle East seems like something that could never be accomplished. No. But maybe this is as close as we've been. We just have to pray that this goes forward and all this fighting can cease. So anyway, we'll see. He said pretty much everybody is on board. Of course, they're still waiting for Hamas to say, okay, we're going to lay down our guns. We're gonna quit.
Well, one of the problems they got is they've killed all the leadership, so they got to find somebody who can.
They do. They have. They have killed how many of their leadership? So they're running out of people to run the show, and but like you've said this before too. I saw some footage of what Gaza looks like. There's nothing there. There's nothing left. But part of this agreement was if this goes forward, then the U.S. comes in with food and, they're going to help the people of Gaza rebuild. They're going to come in with lumber and all these supplies to help rebuild. So I'm sure that the people who are living in Gaza are thinking, oh, please let this happen. But it's the bad guys. It's Hamas that doesn't want this to take place. Let's see, totally changing the subject here. 58 million pounds of frozen corn dogs and sausage on a stick products are being recalled. So if you have those in your fridge, we always have corn dogs at our house because we've got kids in and out all the time. Recall affects State Fair corn dogs and Jimmy Dean pancakes and sausage on a stick. Ooh. It actually sounds pretty good right now, doesn't it?
It does, actually.
And also French toast and sausage on a stick made by Texas-based Hillshire Brands, a Tyson Foods subsidiary. The issue surfaced after consumer complaints, so I don't know if those are relevant or not, but anyway, you'll have to decide what to do.
Were they complaining because the taste was bad, or was they complaining because there was glass in there?
Recalled,
kind of different.
Take it back. Recalled nationwide due to possible wood pieces in the batter. That's not good. I don't suppose that would be good. Anyway, that's where they're recalled. So I guess you have to decide what you're going to do with your corn dogs. Authorities say a stowaway was discovered dead on Sunday morning in the landing gear of an American Airlines plane arriving from Europe. The body was found at 9 a.m. during routine maintenance at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. American Airlines confirmed it is cooperating with law enforcement. The FAA reports about 76% of stowaway attempts end in death. So I don't know how you would even think that was a possibility that you would make that happen.
You'd run out of oxygen and freeze.
Yeah, exactly. There were a couple, and I'm paraphrasing on these because I just read about them this morning and I don't have it in front of me, but there were a couple of airplane almost crises over the weekend too, and I can't remember what carrier it was, but they were ready to take off, and then another plane, a smaller plane, was coming and crossed their runway.
Seems like it's always these smaller planes.
Yeah, and So anyway, the smaller plane was the one that was in error. But thankfully, somebody in the tower was seeing what was happening and told the jet, I think it had like 95 passengers and crew on there, saying, hey, hit the brakes kind of thing. And they did. You can watch the footage, and I'm sure it was scary to be on that plane because they hit the brakes hard. But they stopped the plane and averted any injury or any accidents. They had to take a look at the brakes and the tires before they were able to take off in the plane, but other than that, everybody was good. And then there was another one, and I can't remember exactly where this happened, so if you want to find out more about it, you can just look it up. But there was an airplane that landed on the interstate, now a smaller plane, of course. No word on what happened and why they had to make this emergency landing. But it was like there were 2 or 3 lanes of interstate on both sides, and there was like a huge shoulder next to each of those sets of lanes. And this plane just glided down and landed what looked like kind of a shoulder on the edge of the interstate. So imagine driving down the interstate and all of a sudden see this plane coming at you. Landed without incident, nobody got hurt, nothing. So,
I've seen like police dash cam video of a plane landing in front of them.
wow, scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, coming up on 9:30, we will break for some market information for you on a Tuesday. Dave and I have to be reminded that it is Tuesday. And we will come back with all kinds of other stuff for you. So stay tuned for more coming up after the break on Morning Talk.
Back with more Morning Talk with Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop. Brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. After the markets on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
KBRF presents Where to Eat, the culinary adventure, sponsored by Dandelion and Burdock and Service Food in Fergus Falls.
Hi, I'm Zach Daniels.
And I'm Dave Bishop, your guide to the region's culinary treasures.
Join us as we explore various restaurants, uncover delicious meals, and highlight each restaurant's signature dish.
Experience diverse cuisine types, unique atmospheres, and must-try dishes. Check it out on KBRFradio.com and the Fergus Now app.
New episodes air every first Friday of the month. Where to Eat, powered by Dandelion and Burdock and Service Food of Fergus Falls.
What's the ox say?
Today on Hot Talk with the Ox, right away hear how congressional leaders and Benjamin Netanyahu responded to Trump's proposals yesterday. Then hear how it went for Charlie Kirk's accused assassin in court. At 4:06, hear what wine of the week Jeff has picked out on the West Side Liquor Wine Line. Then hear fellow Ox listeners' wines of the week. See you for Hot Talk with the Ox today from 2 to 5 on News Talk 1250 KBRF.
What's the ox say?
Local farmers. Lake Cabin Meat and Deli Company in Fergus Falls currently has open slots and accepting animals. They take the hassle out of processing and butchering your livestock. From custom cuts to expert butchering, they handle it all with care and precision. Serving Fergus Falls of the Lakes area, they're proud to support local farmers like you. Call or visit Lake Cabin Meat and Deli Company today to schedule your meat processing. Lake Cabin Meat and Deli Company, where quality meets tradition on Highway 210 East.
Previously on the Under the Hood Show. When I was a kid, I had a chance to get a chemistry set.
I got
only
the
I'd have
chemistry
known.
set, and I started experimenting with the baking soda and the vinegar thing, you know, and how cool that was. And of course, you know, I had to overdo it like I do everything, and I got it on a little bigger level, and I got in a lot of trouble, and we had to buy new carpet for the living room. It was not good.
You should listen to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics right here, KBRF, 1250 a.m., every Saturday at 10 a.m.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Minnesota. This message presented by the MSHSL and the Minnesota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
With its increased efficiency and lower fuel costs, ag producers know that propane is better for their bottom line. And now, participating in the Propane Farm Research Program can impact your bottom line. Share your propane equipment performance data and you can receive compensation, like up to $5,000 towards towable generators and generators for backup power, and up to $2,000 for propane building heat systems. To take advantage of all the ways propane is better for your bottom line, Start your application today at propane.com/PFRP.
Find out why the markets are moving. Get in-depth ag information with the Red River Farm Network on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
Good morning. 9:30 market update time here on the Red River Farm Network. I'm Tyler Donaldson. Grains markets starting out today's trade on the wrong side of the ledger here. Corn Belt Marketing market analyst Sam Hudson says the grains could be getting a boost soon from some lower than expected harvest yield reports.
You never want to try to outguess what the government's going to do. So anyone around the edges here, just from a volume health or depth standpoint, it's probably going to be absent the market until we see that data. And alongside that, you've got a harvest pace that's pretty rapid here. I think corn and soybeans 18, 19% respectively here yesterday afternoon in that data. And I would expect these numbers to really, climb dramatically with the forecast that we have. It's just dry everywhere. Moisture levels are coming down. And there's a big push on soybeans ongoing here. So here, decent, consistent yields on the front end for beans across the central corn belt. Further west, where they maybe had some more water, there's some yield drag because of sudden death and stuff like that. Variability in corn just seems to be consistent everywhere.
Cattle markets right across the board there as well, trading lower to start the day after reaching recent highs in the feeder markets yet again.
Could have a little bit of negative sentiment from an economic standpoint with some of these headlines going on. One of the things I'm watching here, though, is feeder cattle index made another new record high yesterday, 367.61. And with the market down $1.50 here on the front end, that's a, $11, $12 discount here again. So I almost got to sit here and think that we're going to try to converge that again. I think the only thing that flies in the face of that is just, again, some of this uncertainty that we've got with the outside situation, geopolitics, in addition to the fact that beef prices were lower last week. And I don't know if we've quite found a bottom there yet. So,
reporting agriculture's business, you are listening to the Red River Farm Network.
Next on our Corn Hall of Fame tour, Pioneer brand Power Core Enlist corn.
Ooh, look at all the trophies.
Yes, Power Core Enlist beats competitors with a 7.7 bushel per acre yield advantage. 3 distinct modes of pest control action and unsurpassed herbicide flexibility mean above ground pests and weeds can't win.
But what if they try?
They wouldn't dare. Plant the 100th season of Pioneer. Visit pioneer.com/powerup.
Innovation is transforming sugar beet farming. At Beta Seed, we're using advances in science to optimize the potential of every seed you plant. Our state-of-the-art breeding and testing process takes up to 10 years. It's the only way to ensure the hybrid your Beta Seed rep recommends has the best traits to manage disease and drive yields for this region and your farm. It's what we call next-gen breeding for next-gen confidence. Learn more at betaseed.com. Beta Seed, breeding confidence.
Farmers and ranchers depend on farm radio. In fact, the average farm has 11 radios. Over half of our farm listeners have 20 or more radios on the farm. The Red River Farm Network is your go-to source for farm news, markets, and weather. Dedicated, determined, dependable. Don Wick, Jamie Dickerman, Tyler Donaldson, Drew Lerner on the Red River Farm Network. We're the Red River Farm Network, and we're reporting agriculture's business.
October is National Co-op Month. Member-owned farm cooperatives create local jobs and improve food security. 2 million U.S. farmers are members of more than 2,100 ag and retail purchasing co-ops. These co-ops reinvest in their community. During National Co-op Month, Associated Milk Producers Incorporated and its Dinnerville Creamery, the North Dakota Farmers Union, and the Red River Farm Network recognize the role cooperatives play in our lives. Remember, cooperatives build a better world.
December wheat Minneapolis is 3/4 cent lower, 568.5. Chicago December wheat's 4 1/4 lower at 515 1/4. KC hard red winter wheat's 4 1/2 lower, 503 3/4. December corn down 3 cents right now, 418 1/2. November soybeans are a nickel lower at 10.05 1/2. November canola is $9.40 per metric ton, down to 605.20 Canadian. October live cattle are 57 cents lower, 230.72. October feeders down 15 cents to 356.05. October hogs are 45 cents lower at $100.70. This is the Red River Farm Network.
Today on Hot Talk with the Ox, right away hear how congressional leaders and Benjamin Netanyahu responded to Trump's proposals yesterday. Then hear how it went for Charlie Kirk's accused assassin in court. At 4:06, hear what wine of the week Jeff has picked out on the West Side Liquor wine line. Then hear fellow Ox listeners' wines of the week. See you for Hot Talk with the Ox today from 2 to 5 on News Talk 1250 KBRF.
What's the Ox say?
You want to feel important? You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and that you can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We felt that way too. I'm Sergeant First Class Chris Urick from Glencoe, Minnesota, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Minnesota Army National Guard soldiers. We are people just like you, and together we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit nationalguard.com/MN to find out more. Sponsored by Minnesota Army National Guard, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
You want to feel important. You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and that you can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We felt that way too. I'm Sergeant Michael Tislin from Chaska, Minnesota, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Minnesota Army National Guard soldiers, we are people just like you, and together we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit nationalguard.com/MN to find out more. Sponsored by the Minnesota Army National Guard, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
There we go. News Talk 1250 KBRF. Listen anytime, any place with the Fergus Now app on your phone. Currently sitting in at 66 right now in Fergus Falls. Hoping everybody's having this just kind of a nice little day, and it's not rainy, and hopefully it won't get too hot.
Right. I saw, how Facebook puts up memories, and you see a picture, and then there's a date on it. My Facebook memory from September 28th of last year was John and I on the pontoon, swimsuits, and I said, really? September 28th? And September 28th was a beautiful, beautiful day again. So just telling you, we had this beautiful fall weather last year too. I remember going to football games last year, and sometimes we were in shorts and T-shirts. By the end of the night, you had to throw on a pair of pants and put on a light jacket. But pretty much that's how it's been this year too. We've just gone to some really nice football games, and so I hope it's like that this Friday. I think there's a chance of some rain coming in on Friday, and I hope that doesn't happen. Hillcrest has their homecoming this weekend, and I think Fergus Falls had homecoming last weekend.
Yep.
So they had a great night for it.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So we're hoping for the same. I'm hoping that a little bit later in the week I can tell you about there's going to be a silent auction that is going to raise money for some equipment and helmets, that sort of thing that the football team needs at Hillcrest, and gonna just do a fundraiser, and there's lots of really cool stuff on that silent auction.
I love a silent auction.
I do too. And there's things like total vehicle details. There are Yeti coolers. And so I'm working on getting a whole list so that we can highlight some of the bigger stuff. But it's not only a great way to raise money for the Hillcrest football team, and some of the things that they need, but it's also a chance for you to get something really cool. And I guess there's really some fun stuff. And the interesting thing is they gave each of the football players a number of businesses and individuals that they were supposed to contact. So it was kind of a learning opportunity too, because I think it's always good for kids to go into a business and say, here's what we're trying to raise funds for, and you know how I feel about that. I think they should be there. I think they should make the ask in person. Anyway, so I had the opportunity to visit with one of the players on the team, just this great kid. And he's a friend of our grandkids, so I've gotten to know him over the years. But he came, and he was so respectful in his approach. And
makes it a little easier for the ask when you know the person.
It sure does. It sure does. But Anyway, I think it's a good learning opportunity, and it's homecoming week, so there's crazy stuff going on every day and evening, it seems. I don't know if you remember back, but homecoming week was always so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
We had, I remember having big giant bonfires practically in the middle of the parking lot. Well, it was a parking lot in those days because it was gravel.
Yeah, we did. We had the over between the soccer field and the parking lot. There was,
Yeah, that's where we were too. Yep.
Yeah, shot put area was.
Okay.
Yep.
So anyway, I just remember homecoming week being so much fun. Looked like they had just a great time at the Fergus homecoming too. And then of course the parade looked like they had a lot of fun with that. And
Dodge the rain.
Dodge the rain, yes. And it kind of poured afterward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know, it takes me back. And those are the parts of high school that I really loved. I love the fun stuff, as most kids do. But anyway, so I'll try to give you an updated list of some of the cool stuff that you'll be able to bid on Friday night. All right, here is how the headline reads. There's crazy in the news. The DOT tells Ohio drivers to quit stopping in the middle of the highway. Always a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Ohio transportation officials are urging drivers to do just that. Stop making dangerous last-minute lane changes to reach highway exits after several recent crashes have happened. So the DOT's press secretary said there's no excuse for putting people in harm's way just so you can avoid maybe a 2 or 3 minute detour. This month, a watermelon truck stopped suddenly on a Cincinnati area highway when a car ahead crossed multiple lanes to reach an exit, spilling fruit across the roadway. In May, a Columbus driver stopped on the shoulder, then crossed 3 lanes, causing a crash. In April, a red van stopped in the middle of I-71 to reach an exit, triggered a chain reaction crash. How do they think that is not going to go badly if you just stop? Anyway, the driver fled but was later found and charged. Said, we just need people to pay attention and drive responsibly, and that is not so hard to ask. So if the deal is, if all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's my exit. Oops, you missed it. You go to the next one and you turn around. You don't stop in the middle of I-71. My goodness.
My one and only, knock on wood.
I know what you're going to say.
My one and only ticket that I ever received or driving a violation was for doing a U-turn on the interstate after I missed my exit.
Where the sign says no U-turn, but you did it anyway.
Yeah.
It's reserved really for law enforcement and emergency vehicles.
Well, I mean, we saw what happens if people do use that down in Florida where that truck driver who didn't speak English and didn't understand signs decided he was going to do that, and the van went right into the side of him.
Right. So anyway, so you got tagged for that one.
I got tagged for that when I was 18.
Do you remember what it cost you?
I don't remember what it cost me. I remember Dan Prishman was the one that gave me the ticket.
Did he kind of chew you out for doing that?
No, he said it was stupid. I mean, I owned up to it. I mean, I said I was talking to the person I was driving with, and all of a sudden, boom, we're headed out to Interstate Texaco, which no longer exists. And the next exit was Rothsay, so it'd be like 24 miles.
Out of the way.
Out of the way.
Back. Yeah.
So it was like, it's like one in the morning.
What are the chances?
It's 1 in the morning.
Oh my goodness, you just were very unlucky then, right?
I mean, it was just like there was one person, the only vehicle anywhere near me was Prishman coming off the on-ramp.
Oh goodness, okay.
Because I looked around, there's nobody anywhere, and I'm like, I'm just going to take this and learn my lesson. Only time I ever did it.
Yep, that's right. That writing that check hurts.
Oh, especially when you're 18 years old.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sure it was over $100, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty big ticket right now.
Now it's a huge ticket, yeah. So
and,
do not do that.
Right. And
I learned my lesson.
And so is speeding through a work zone.
Oh, which rightfully so.
Everywhere. Okay, but I do have good news. Going through Pelican Rapids, you can actually stay on Highway 59 now.
Nice.
You can go all the way through, and I believe Highway 108 East out of downtown Pelican is so near done if it's not. I saw the signs were wide enough for a car to go through, so I thought, is that my invitation, or do I just wait till the signs are gone? And I decided to wait till the signs are gone. But it looks like Highway 108 east out of downtown Pelican, if it's not done today, it will be in the very near future. So I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, but you can stay on Highway 59. There's a bit of a, they've divided one side of the highway while they complete the other side. But at least there's no stopping, no stoplights. You get to go all the way through. And let me tell you, after about 4 months of that stoplight, I'm pretty darn happy to be just driving through on Highway 59. So.
And once that gets done, Mary, you know what the next great project is?
Highway 59 South.
No.
Now what?
The I-94 interchange right here.
Oh my, yeah, that's going to be awful, isn't it?
Yep, they're doing the whole. They're taking out the bridge. They're doing all of that
Okay,
next year.
so how are we going to go around on I-94? Do you suppose?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, I tell you what, I know that all of this, not only in the Pelican area, but I-94, because that was really nice for me to get off 59 and zip down one exit and come here. Well, now I got to go around on, is it 88?
Yeah, 88.
And it's, I mean, it's not terrible.
We have to do it again next year.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Anyway, I just feel like wherever I go, there is
road construction.
And I know tis the season for all of that. But it's such big things. Like I had to drive to Herman for volleyball last week.
Oh, Wendell Road.
And yeah, Wendell Road, okay, enough. Put the road back together. It's been 6 months.
I know.
I swear.
Our production director, Chuck Hammett, lives in Wendell, and I've got to hear about it all summer.
Oh, my
long.
goodness. I just don't know what is taken out there, but put it back together. And anyway, yeah, and I've got a friend who lives just on the other side of the interstate on County Road 1, and he's not been able to drive home for the whole summer. It's been the whole summer.
Yeah.
It started early last spring.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what the deal is, but chop, chop. That's and I know it's a lot of work, and I know they did big things out there. So that's just the impatience in me coming out after, basically 6 months of driving through road construction on both ends. And I've kind of had it with road construction. But I guess that's what we do. At least I could get back and forth, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think next year, it might not be next year, but the year after, then the south side of 59 in Pelican Rapids is going to be redone. So then I don't know what happens to me. I don't know how I go home from there, but I guess I'll worry about that in 2 years. So there you have that. Just, sometimes you just have to get on your soapbox and complain about something that needs to be done, and they're doing their very best. And I will say, they must have had a lot of rain delays this year.
Yeah.
Because we had some pouring rain quite a few times, and so I'm sure that's the reason that a lot of that got pushed back. And boy, does that make a mess when you've got everything torn up and then we get, 3 inches of rain.
Well, the in-town construction project I think everybody's looking forward to being done is Junius. Just how many people crossed that. Because they totally ripped that up and totally fixed it because it needed it. I mean,
it did.
There's nobody complaining that road got fixed because
Right.
that road was a mess. So,
Well, then they just completed, and if you drive on County Road 4, which is how I go home to the lake off 59, I go east on County Road 4. And there are a couple of places where they have given us a new surface on the road, which is nice.
mill and overlay.
But what happens is the side becomes this drop off like this, and if you're riding bike or even in your car, man, that's dangerous. So now they've come through with, I don't know what kind of, what it is.
Dirt, gravel, asphalt,
It basically
fill.
looks like dirt and gravel mixed together because it's kind of dark. And so now that is our shoulder. And, and then they kind of tried to make it a little bit more palatable to drive in and out of your driveway without going over this big giant hump. But I don't know how that's going to look the first rain. I don't know if that's going to stay where it's supposed to stay. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know too much about road construction, only that, of course, we all hate it. And I feel sorry for the guys who are doing it and listening to people like me complain about it, because you got to
they're well compensated.
You got to do it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's got to be done. All right, but just don't stop in the middle of the road. That's the word for today. Okay, you and I have talked about this many times, and it's what people are willing to do either for money or for likes and becoming influencers on social media. I actually know a couple of people who I think that is their lot in life, is to post and post and post and post and post and post on Facebook or Instagram in hopes of maybe becoming some kind of influencer. And because these influencers are making huge money.
And we all should feel ashamed that they get paid that much.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
So I don't really get it, but some of those people, I'm like, I just unfollow them on Facebook or Instagram just because I'm like, oh, I just don't know that you must not have time for anything else in your life except making sure that you capture everything on video or photo. But anyway, that is the deal that is out there. Well, here is a YouTube deal like that. There is a YouTube creator known as Mr. Beast.
Yep, I've heard of him.
Yep. Anyway, he has defended his latest video. Wait till you hear what it features. A professional stuntman escaping a burning building for $500,000.
Wow.
The clip, titled "Would You Risk Dying for $500,000?" shows the contestant, this is a contestant, completing 7 dangerous challenges, including fire escapes and explosions, ultimately earning $350,000. Jimmy Donaldson is Mr. Beast's real name. He faced criticism online, no kidding, after the video gained about 45 million views since last Saturday. Critics called the content dangerously irresponsible, and Donaldson responded on X Monday saying, "I take safety more serious than you could ever imagine." How can you say that even? Anyway, he explained safety measures included ventilation systems, fire kill switches, pyro specialists, and extensive professional testing. The YouTuber, who has over 440 million subscribers, previously faced lawsuits over his Amazon series Beast Games.
Yeah, you can't put him in the same category as the average influencer, because he does have the money where he could actually set up safety systems and stuff. And I get a feeling that was, like you said, a professional stunt person who knows what they're doing and knows the risks and went through everything beforehand.
Yeah, I guess.
I got a feeling it was less about winning the money and more about getting the views.
Yeah,
it's like you're gonna win. I'm gonna pay you this money, and we're gonna do this, but I'm pretty sure safety was involved.
Yeah, probably.
He's got too many corporate sponsors for him to go out.
For it to go bad.
For it to go bad, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. But it just amazes me what people will pay for and how these people get started. Here's a perfect example, and you and I have talked about it before. The Sea Boys from Cormorant.
Yep.
I mean, it was a bunch of late high school, college age guys who said, let's do a bunch of crazy things on YouTube, or where I think YouTube is where you see most of it. And they have just become giant. And they do the craziest stuff, and they get all these huge sponsors to give them boats and snowmobiles and all this stuff to basically kind of ruin. And they do the craziest things. And is it kind of fun to watch? Kinda. But the great thing is these guys have made millions of dollars, and they're probably not even 30. And they turn around and they've done some really, really wonderful things, helping kids get through college.
Yeah, they sell a lot of merchandise. I know my middle son Luke was for a while. I don't know if he still is, but for a while he was a huge fan. I know my oldest Isaac, he runs into them all the time in like bars and concerts and stuff. He goes, yeah, you can't go anywhere without running into one of them.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't recognize them, of course, but anyway. I was going to read you something about, and now I've lost it, but maybe I can paraphrase, and this was how we'll end the show. The analogy is a good one. It's about someone, imagine that you have a cup of coffee, and someone bumps into you, and the coffee spills out. So what is that? Well, it's because he bumped into you. Actually, it's because you had coffee in your cup. And the whole premise of this analogy was, what's in your cup, basically. So is it going to be anger? Are you going to be mad at that person because they bumped you? What's going to spill out of your cup? And basically, I guess from a starting point, you can fill your cup with whatever you want to. It can be anger and disappointment, or it can be joy and forgiveness and all the good stuff. So it just depends on what you fill your cup with today, so that if you do get bumped and it spills out, that it's good stuff. So there you go. There's your feel good for the day. So fill your cup with the good stuff, right?
Sounds good.
Yeah, dark coffee and joy. How's that?
Dark coffee and love.
Coming up on 10 o'clock, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for joining us. Our show today and every day brought to us by Pioneer Care and by Fergus Monument Company. Have a great day.